the more they exempt themselves from taxes if you're an EU bureaucrat, the more they engage in all this bizarre animal farm behavior, the faster time runs out. Hopefully on Brexit Day, just coming up here in a day or so, you will spend a lot of time with us, Paul, and also host some special transmissions from London, England. Thank you so much, Paul Watson.
Thanks, Alex.
All right, I appreciate Paul sitting in today. I'm spending time with my family. I got here a little bit late for the broadcast, which was always kind of a plan, that if things are going well with the kids, we're having a good time, they're not tired or anything, that we would end up letting Paul and some of the other folks host part of the show. And I do deserve a vacation. I mean, we all need to take a break sometimes, but it's torture to not be on air when I'm reading all this news and seeing what's going on. I mean, this is not a job for me. This is a fight. This is a commitment. This is what my life is all about. Because if you don't fight for liberty, you will be a slave. It's a fact. It's like having, screen doors on submarines. You will flood. You will sink if you don't have those doors on. Briefly, we need to be funded. We need the support to have our reporters all over the world and breaking analysis and having, just huge effects on the discourse of human activities in the direction of liberty. We have Roger Stone news coming up, big news on attacks on free speech when we start the next hour. Roger Stone gave us key intel this morning and has relayed a message to us exclusively. We're going to be breaking here on the other side. Briefly, we're running the biggest special ever on Hillary for President shirts. 50% off. You go to Infowars.com/newsletter, put in your email, or you're already a member of the Infowars Newsletter Insider, we will send you the promo code to get 50% off. You're like, wait a minute, you did this a month or so ago. That's right. The biggest sale is you can get the next one for 75% off, $4.95. Normally they're $20, $19.95. Now they're $9.95. The first one's $9.95. The second one is $4.95. That is at cost. Infowarsstore.com. You can already buy them for $9.95 if you want to support the broadcast. But if you go to the site and you sign up for the newsletter, you can get up to 75% off on that. We're also about to end the Tim Kennedy special coming up, 15% off on Supermelt Vitality. Well, InfoWarsLive.com. Thank you. Careful what you wish. Just might say. I don't take any pleasure in how dumbed down the average Democrat is. There's kind of an upper crust that pursue intellectual and are kind of fighting battles with corrupt forms of so-called conservatism from 30, 40, 50 years ago. And they have some legitimate points they make, but they're battling old dead dragons. It's kind of like I used to expose George W. Bush for stuff he was doing. He's out of power now, okay? Obama's 3 times worse, according to Jonathan Turley, liberal constitutional lawyer, and many others. The head of the Green Party has come out and said Hillary's worse than Trump, because it's true. I mean, she's so fascistic. She's so corrupt. It isn't about party affiliation for me. It's about reality. And I look at leftists that say, well, we're not going to let right-wingers get in control. And we know Obama's bad, but at least he's given us some of what we want, like Obamacare, written by foreign insurance companies. And then Grouper, who helped write it, talks about how great it is that we're dumb. I mean, it really is your perception that Obama loves you and cares about you and that things are getting better. They fake the jobs numbers. They fake the unemployment numbers. They fake the inflation numbers. That's all admitted. But we have a 1.8 growth. With Cook numbers, it's probably 2 points negative. That's a depression for most people. But you're secure in your government job or your government-connected corporate job. And so you just want to say, let them eat cake, as if you are delusionally somehow in power. People imagine they're part of the power structure. I mean, if Donald Trump gets in office and starts going sideways on issues, I'm going to say he totally chumped us. We've got to expose this guy and go after him. I'm not going to just go, well, he's my guy, so I'm going to support him so I feel like I'm getting ahead and I feel like I'm on the winning team. That's called being cuckoo. That's called being completely insane. And more, it's not even about intellectually proving our points here. Everybody running around with rainbow flags saying Donald Trump wants to, kill gay people. And I mean, you're literally nuts. His whole track record has been super liberal when it comes to that. That's why a lot of conservatives didn't like him. But it doesn't matter to you because you want to feel hurt. You want to feel like you're on a bandwagon. You want to feel like shake your finger at people at protest because you're in the right and they're in the wrong and it feels good to be a winner. You are delusional. You are in your own world. Admit you are. What you're doing isn't reality-based. And that goes for the pseudo-intellectual leftist leadership that runs right down to just the average person in the street that hears, I hate Donald Trump, he's an idiot, he's racist, he's bad, and you can virtue signal. The worst people are white people on this, I'm just a fact. Virtue signal to someone who's Hispanic or black or whatever. It's so condescending when people virtue signal. And I've got really sweet family who aren't racist. They're good people. But, you know, it's mainly older family members that grew up with them with still a lot of friction and stuff. And they will just virtue signal like there is no end to it. So patronizing to people. We need to just transcend it and be based on free market, based on free, open society, open association. And then you associate with who you want. You support what you like. You buy what you like. You tell people about what you like. That's how a free system operates. Just like internet rating systems. They're not perfect, but they've raised quality of furniture and food and culture and art and just you name it to an incredible level because people get a chance to see how they could live or what they could have or inexpensive ways to renovate their house and then improve the value. And there's a lot of really great things happening in culture. And the truth is people are getting along really good between religions and races if they're just left alone, unless you're talking about Islam, which is incompatible. And that's why they're bringing so much of it in, because they want to create a total circus. And then when those of us that do want an open free society say, hey, if we're going to have a party that's open and free, common sense, everything the New World Order is doing is to overwrite your common sense. Everything it's doing is to get you to short circuit and submit to tyranny. And we're just here saying, whoa, our controllers are trying to bankrupt us. They've already bankrupted over 100 other countries. They write textbooks on how they do it. They're trying to bankrupt us emotionally, culturally, spiritually, morally, to make us absolute controllable trash. Humanity is being herded and organized into a system of exterminism. And I'm here trying to expose it. Well, we've already covered a lot of amazing news in the last hour with myself and Paul Watson. And we're going to be taking your phone calls at the bottom of this hour today on the question of the assassination of Donald Trump. Is it going to happen? Is the establishment going to kill Trump themselves and then claim a mental patient did it? Or are they trying, with their different psychological warfare systems, to simply hype it and hype it and hype it and push it in rock and roll and hip hop and in the New York Times and in the BuzzFeed and the Daily Beast and everywhere else? Someone killed Trump, someone take him out. They just put that mantra out, hoping that some type of mental patient or wound up idiot fruit will end up sneaking into one of his events and be able to put a bullet in Donald J. Trump. Because clearly they're trying to assassinate talk radio. They're trying to assassinate the internet globally, putting in kill switches. They're trying to censor speech. They're trying to end the words mother and father and he and she, because that's hurtful. They're trying to say the American flag is evil and the British flag is bad. They are setting the precedent to arrest whoever they want. They're already doing it in Germany and France to criticize the Muslims. And so we're entering the season of not just political assassination, where they assassinate your political character, but where they physically assassinate you. I want to ask that question. Toll-free number to join us, 800-259-9231, 800-259-9231. First-time callers, by the way. I'm going to give you a chance to call in the first round of calls, 800-259-9231, and we will get you up and on the air. Now, let's talk about some criticism of Donald Trump. This is criticism coming from Alex Jones. Last Thursday, he put out a tweet in which he said, very, very clearly, in my view, that, hey, I'm going to talk to the NRA, and I'm going to talk to the NRA about putting terrorists on a no-gun buy list. Now, are those terrorists that were convicted? No. Were those terrorists that were under indictment? No. Were those terrorists under sealed indictment? No. Were those terrorists even under current investigation? No. It's just, were those convicted terrorists? Were those proven terrorists? No. Because you see, let's look at the whole backdrop. It sounds very reasonable on the surface to say, I will be meeting with the NRA who has endorsed me about not allowing people on the terrorist watch list or the no-fly list to buy guns. ABC News last week. So, on the surface, you're like, well, my God, I mean, obviously the government's good. It would only put terrorists on the terrorist no-fly list or watch list. I've had family put on it. There have been 7 members of Congress with very common names put on it. This is the reality. It's the end of due process where they can put anybody they want on a list to take your guns. What have they already been doing to hundreds of thousands a year? It's in the millions of veterans. Going back to World War II, Korea, Vietnam, Nicaragua, Panama, all of it. Right through to Desert Storm, Desert Shield, all of it. Right through all of it. Right through the 91 to 2003, right through to today. They are putting people with no judge, no jury. They just have in some psychology file that they might have, had PTSD. No more guns for you. No judge, no jury. No announcement by the federal government, no judicial finding, no hearing, no one you can accuse, no accuser you can accuse, no paper trail. You just get put on a list and you can't buy guns anymore. And then if you're in California, Illinois, New York, Massachusetts, and a bunch of other states, it's like 16 states now, and you're on that list that the good old folks at the Veterans Affairs Association set up, you get a letter first from the state police who are under federal control in a federal program saying, we need you to come down to the station with your guns. And if you don't respond to that, they show up with a SWAT team and take your guns. So that's what's going on. And so this is the holy grail of gun grabbing. Remember, they had a couple articles, one of them in USA Today and another one in the Washington Post, just this last weekend saying we need to have stealth gun ban. And what was the exact headline of one? It was, let me go to memory here. The exact headline was, we need to secretly repeal the Second Amendment. That was one of the headlines. And that's what this is. In fact, I said that a few years ago when they had the Bloomberg headline, gun confiscation begins in California. And it was mainly veterans who had no criminal records in most cases or did anything wrong. They just suddenly had a SWAT team at their house taking their guns. And then when they would show up at the police station and say, give me my guns back, they'd say, oh, we need you to come back here. We're going to do a psychological evaluation yourself. So the thought police are grabbing veterans and taking their guns, even though statistically they're one of the lowest crime rate groups. They're all suspect, though, because they're the #1 Homeland Security threat, remember? We got the secret documents 8 years ago. Nobody believed us. A couple of years later, they admitted they were all real. Now everybody goes, oh, yeah, the veterans, the gun owners, the Christians, the conservatives, the patriots, the libertarians, they're the terrorists, the land rights activists, the Americans. The folks that won't completely roll over. So this is all going on. So they called for a secret or stealth repeal of the Second Amendment. That's what this is. And I don't know if Trump is being crafty, because he does this sometimes, and knows the public's dumbed down. They're like, hey, we don't want terrorists to have guns. People on the watch list or no-fly list. He's like, yeah, we need to look into that. Let me meet with the NRA about that. And then the NRA puts out tweets, I guess he hasn't met yet, saying, hey, we don't want this. We got to have due process. But if somebody can be proven to be a terrorist affiliated and a foreigner and not a citizen, yes. And I agree with that, too. You're a foreigner here. You're connected to terrorist groups. Damn right. Kick your butt out of the country. How about not just you can't get guns? How about haul your butt out? This is our country. When you're a citizen, you have rights. You pay taxes. Not when you just show up. We want to see a little bit of proof about who you are. Everybody else does it. We're doing it too. But that's not where this is going now, because he's on Bill O'Reilly. And O'Reilly's like, well, you agree. Republicans agree. Everybody does. We got to do something about terrorists getting guns. Oh, yeah, terrorists that pass background checks, whose dad got brought here by the CIA, who the FBI's been ordered twice to stand down when his mosque says kill gay people. All the red flags, all the signs, all the bells and whistles, all the warning signs, just huge alarms. Alert, alert. Alert, alert. I mean, whatever. You'll play a song or a sound from Star Trek. Red alert. I mean, everything's going off here. Okay, major 10 bell fire alarm, okay? We're talking banging your ears out, over the top.